Hello, fight fans. Welcome to Bare Knuckle Uncensored. I'm Chris with MMA Uncensored, and this is left openweight champion King Dave Leduc. How you doing, King?
What's up, guys? I'm good. You're good.
Good to
How are
see
you?
Very good, very good. What's going on? What's going on over the weekend in combat sports?
Right now, we can't not talk about the Floyd Mayweather fight with Logan Paul. That
Yeah,
was interesting, to say the least. I think what resumes it well was Joe Rogan's. I like what he said. He's like, he appreciated both fighters. It was interesting, not to say the least, and I agree with him. I think Floyd is a fucking genius for making like a legalized bank robbery. I think, and
yes,
why not? Why
yes.
not?
I watched it. I actually enjoyed the three or four fights before. The Floyd fight, it was ridiculous. The size difference, hugging. No one was trying to put the other one away. They were doing a lot of rabbit punches. It was just for
Mm,
show and spectacle.
yeah.
The people were full. The fans, Miami, all the NFL football players, celebrities were there. I enjoyed the overall show, but that was a little disappointing because I feel Floyd should have put him out. It's an exhibition,
Do
but
you think?
$50 a pop, man, $50 to watch.
Do you think that he did KO him, but he kept him up? I think there's a controversy happening right now.
I know.
He clocked him pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Did he pass the torch? Who knows? Who knows what's going on? It looks like Floyd made about 100 million, and this kid, the YouTuber Logan Paul, made 20 million or so, plus all the side money he's gonna make.
So I saw the tweet that Francis Ngannou said, and honestly, the guy, like, what am I? He's like, what am I doing wrong? He's like, I don't know how much he's making for his UFC fight. Wasn't it like 500,000 or maybe let's say even 1 million? You
Yeah,
know,
right around a
and
million, yeah, probably.
one of the
And
best fighters in the world right now, and he's
John
making
Jones,
20,
John
20
Jones.
times. Yeah.
It's weird to even talk about it, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of people will leave combat sports like UFC and Bellator and stuff like that and go over to boxing. There's a couple
Yeah.
fighters that are actually thinking about it now. I think Brian Kelleher of the UFC, I think he's a 135 pounder. He
I
said,
don't know.
yeah, he basically said on Twitter, what do I need to do to get a
Yeah.
retirement, or I'm gonna have to go work at Walmart or something. And
Mhm.
that's the
Well,
reality of it. Let me ask you a question. In your sport, what's the median pay for fighters? Like, what does an
depends.
average fighter get?
It depends on their
Left away.
status. It depends. Yeah, in Letway, I've seen guys, for their first fight, making, I don't know, like $5,000 to $10,000. Which, again, we're talking about a sport that is not media, it's not mainstream, and basically, if you look, like, they made, I think, $4,000. Um, let's say they make $5,000 for their first fight. In Muay Thai, they would make like $1,000. So
Mm-hmm.
it's already more money in Letway than there is in Muay Thai for the same caliber. But what again, it's hard to compare both of them. We're talking about a sport that is in its debut. Compare not in debut, but like mainstream wise, it's not even near. I
Right.
brought it to different heights, and you're comparing to a machine that has billions of dollars behind it. I know it's not the same, but definitely, if we're talking striking sports,
Mm-hmm.
if I would be young right now, I would jump into Little, because you can turn a lot of heads, and because of the headbutts, the bare knuckle aspect, you're getting media coverage, you're getting attention. I would be between obviously boxing and Little, but for me, money is not everything in life. You can make good money doing what you love, and that's what
Tyson
matters.
Fury money. Tyson
For me,
Fury
it's,
money.
it's again, I don't know. What do you mean? What do
Doesn't
you mean if
Tyson
he's
Fury? Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, they were talking about a bare knuckle fight. I hear something about $20
Yeah, but
million
we're
dollars.
talking about right now. There's obviously there's the Tyson Fury, and it has nothing to do with Litway right now. The boxing money, it's not even comparable to Litway. It's not even comparable to MMA. So we're talking boxing, and then there's UFC, and then there's maybe a mix of like Glory and Let's Way, depending. But again, I'm an exception to the rule. You know, you cannot compare, like, what I'm making is not even comparable to what other Let's Way fighters are making. I'm smart. What can I say? But you have to compare what, you know.
Do all the Lethway fighters have such unscarred skin, or what's up? I'm trying to see some scars and shit. I can't see any.
I said I'm smart, I'm evasive. I like to.
I don't see nothing. Joe Rogan said you were smart too, by the way.
Yeah, of course. I have like you said about the skin. You know, I have like.
I don't see no scars. I got more scars than you.
Hell skin. It's about being evasive, man. Bare knuckle boxing, bare knuckle fighting. You have to be smart. You have to move your head. You have to be everything. But yeah, we're talking back to the money. At the end of the day, it's entertainment, right? And if you're making money with your fight, great. But also you have to be smart with whatever you invest your money is, and you know, what brand you're creating, and that's what I was fortunate enough and to make. I'm not fortunate. You fucking work for your money and you work for your shit, but like you have to invest it properly. But if we're talking like, you know, Francis, he's making, I don't know, $500,000, $1 million, and he's still making less money than Logan, who's a YouTuber, 0-1 in boxing. So, like, obviously there's something wrong here. Maybe I don't think it's wrong. I think we're just entering the era of entertainment. I have no desire to do these fights. For me, it's all about, like, you know, being a true fighter and feeling good. I have enough money to live happily ever after in a house in Turkey, in the Mediterranean. I don't need $1 billion to be happy. And honestly, I think it brings unhappiness. I don't want to speak for Floyd, but I think, you know, all these, life is not about strippers and booze and all these things. Actually, I think it brings depression. It brings unhappiness. So people, the fighters watching this, don't just aim for
strippers and booze.
Yeah, it's not happy. It's not happiness. Actually, it's a sign of you're patching something. You're patching unhappiness in your body. You have holes in your relationship. You have holes in your life, and you try to patch it with alcohol, patch it with money. The goal is to be happy, guys, and you know, content. Because there's always going to be somebody with more money than he's not even that rich. You know, there's always going to be somebody with more money.
Some people just like to go out and to look at strippers and have a few beers with their friends.
They think they like that. They think they like that.
Do.
They can say whatever they want, but they don't like it. Life is only real when you share it. Happiness is only real when you share it.
So when they hit in the 20s, that's not sharing.
No, I'm talking like at night when they're going back.
I got
home.
you to laugh.
Yeah.
You were on edge. You know, it's midnight in Turkey right now. So listen, King's probably hungry, or he's ready to train, or he's ready to go to bed. Speaking of, guess who we have coming in? What is that?
My fruits, man. I'm eating all fruits. I just want to finish my thought here.
Yes,
I think happiness is only real when you share it. And you guys, like, aiming only at money in life, you're gonna go back home at night, you're unhappy or whatever, and you're gonna want to have a deep connection with somebody. So I think the goal in life should not be to get the Lambo. You know, I was fortunate enough to live in Dubai, and whatever I wanted, I could get it. But I realized quickly that you should aim for the things that just make you happy, and because life is short, and it's not about throwing 20s at strippers. Anyway, but that's my little philosophy here. I think we're gonna talk a lot about philosophy in this Bare Knuckle podcast, because everything goes back to what the fuck are we doing here on planet Earth, you know? But is David on air with us?
Let me get him. This will be the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship president, Mr. David Feldman, founder, CEO, president. He's coming on the show, and it's an honor to have him. Just a second.
So basically today we're going to talk about bare knuckle fighting.
Hey, welcome.
Yeah. What's up, guys?
How you doing, David?
How are you,
David? Mr. Legend, David Ledoux.
Nice to meet you, boss.
A pleasure to meet you.
So are you in Florida right now?
I'm in Philly.
Philly. I'm a Philadelphia Phillies fan. I don't know for you, but I'm a Phillies all my life, all my childhood.
Oh, yeah? my son's in love with the Phillies. I mean, I'm a casual fan, but my son loves it.
Well, I tell him hi for me. I'm from Quebec, Canada, from Montreal, but somehow I fell in love with the Red P when I was young, and I've been Philadelphia Phillies all my life.
Nice, man.
But so yeah, we were excited to have you on the show today. You know, we talk about everything bare knuckle, from everything Loveless, from street fights to. But today I'm excited because I'm fairly new to the entire excitement, the entire thing that you basically created from zero. You brought it up from the grave, right? It's an old sport, and first of all, hats off to you for
Thank you.
and your team. I've been focusing in the past year on my sport over in Myanmar, Burma, and but I cannot close my eyes on what's happening in the U.S. and all around the world. Like the amount of fighters, the amount of excitement you're getting. We had Lobov last 2 weeks ago, and obviously was one of your big shows with him and Knight. So yeah, he was there, and yeah, so. I wanted to catch up with you. And so, how did it all started? How did you come up with this? What's your background?
I've been in combat sports really all my life. My father trained 7 world champions, so I've been in this for a long time. I a professional fighter myself, fought all over the world, boxing. Then I got into promoting boxing with my brother, and relationship. You know, we just better off as brothers. So we didn't do too much together anymore. And then I went on to have a pretty successful career promoting mixed martial arts. And along the way, I was still promoting some boxing matches. I met Bobby Gunn, if you ever heard of him, legend in bare knuckle fighting. He's a traveler. He would tell me how they would do these bare knuckle fights in the fields and solve family disputes among the travelers, bet money on them. I got really intrigued, started checking it out, and I was like, wow, I think the public would really dig this. So I did a show on an Indian reservation in Scottsdale, Arizona.
What year was that?
2011. August 5th of 2011, I did a show on an Indian reservation right outside of Scottsdale, Arizona. Packed the place, did really well streaming it. Only problem is the streaming platform crashed, the paywall crashed. So we had 700,000 plus people trying to log in to buy it, and it crashed. So that event went over really good. So it was great for us. It got us a lot of good publicity, but at the same time, people opened their eyes and were like, we don't want this bare knuckle boxing yet. So for the next 8 years, I went around lobbying states, trying to get this regulated, sanctioned, and legal. And finally, in March of 2011, Brian Pedersen, where you fought, and I think you met him, Brian Pedersen of Wyoming, gave me a break and let me do that event there June 2nd. And it's just been off to the races since then. We've been blowing up as we're the fastest growing combat sports promotion in the world right now. A trendsetter. A lot of people are opening up bare knuckle promotions around the world now. So that's a good thing. So, I mean,
first was in Wyoming?
First one was in Wyoming, June 2nd, 2018. At the place, it was a place called the Cheyenne Ice and Event Center. We did over 2,000 people there, which we had to stop letting people in. It was great. It was just great experience. You know, we had to do what we had to do, but the event went on, without any flaws. Like 3 fight of the night candidates, great knockouts, a couple of boring fights. You know, a good card. The crowd was into it. We trended #1 on Twitter. So everybody in the world was talking about us, and then it just went mainstream, and everybody started writing about us. The media, other states started opening up, and here we are now. We're on our 19th show, BKFC 18, because we did a Knucklemania here in Hollywood, Florida, at the Hard Rock Casino, June 26th. 4 title fights with some very well-known competitors. I think it's going to be a great show and a great debut for us at the Hard Rock Casino.
Amazing, and. Okay, so we have the card here, or we just showed it. Amazing. What's your? I mean, you have to be neutral. But I guess we can expect
we got
fights.
Joey Beltran, heavyweight, versus Sam Shoemaker. We got Hector Lombard versus Joe Diesel Riggs. We've got Luis Palomino versus Tyler Goodjohn. We've got Pitbull Thiago Alves versus Uli Monster Diaz. 4 title fights, never been done before.
It's going to be great. I'm excited about them all. I think Tyler Goodjohn's going to put on a better showing than people are going to think, because he came in not really in great shape and, partying and stuff like that. And the last one thought it was going to be the same thing as the UK scene, but it was a whole different scene over here. And
I agree.
I'm in and surprise some people. Joey Beltran is just a guy who's not very athletic, not a big banger, but he's tough as nails, in the best condition of any real combat sport athlete I've ever seen, as far as just conditioning, being able to go that extra mile. He just finds a way to win. He's fighting hard-punching Sam Shoemaker, who is coming off of a really vicious knockout of Will Bannon. We got Luis Palomino, like I said, versus Tyler Goodjohn. Luis Palomino just finds a way to destroy every opponent that gets in front of him. Uli Diaz fighting former UFC legend Thiago Alves. I think that's going to be a war as well. Really looking forward to that as well. And then my man Hector Lombard, who, you know, if he hits you right, he destroys you. And he's fighting Joe Riggs, another guy that's he's 4-0-1 in bare knuckle right now. So it's going to be a great stack card, a lot of great undercard matches. So far, every show that we've had about 2 or 3 bad fights combined out of about 300, 400 fights.
So basically, you spoke about Joey, and that's a good point that people need to understand. Like, fighting is not about bare knuckle fighting is not only about having like your ripped abs and pectoral muscle and all these things. So what would you say, first of all aspiring fighters that want to get into bare knuckle fighting, bare knuckle boxing? What's the, because we know pain threshold is you know, up there, the most important thing. What advice would you give to aspiring bare knuckle fighting athletes?
No, I just say that it's you can't believe everything that you hear. People that don't watch it, not just this, but anything in the world. People that don't watch it are the people that have bad things to say about it, but they never watched it, right? So someone's going to die or someone's going to do this. We have less concussiveness and less head trauma, less subconcussive injuries than boxing or MMA combined. We have the #1 fight doctor in the country that's on our board, Dr. Don Musi. He compiled a data sheet of all of our injuries from the first event. Not only do we have less concussiveness, we have less facial fractures. But this is most surprising to me. We have less hand fractures or hand injuries than boxing or MMA. The only thing we have more of is lacerations.
What would you say is the reason for that? You have any idea?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think you have to pick your shots better in this thing. So it's not a wild fest. You're not, they call boxing the sweet science. I call this the sweetest science, because you really genuinely have to pick your shots. And, you go in there, you throw a punch, and wow, you're like, wow, that didn't land the way I wanted it to land. And you start looking for the correct openings instead of just going in there and
swing all the time. Because you hit the forehead, you can break your hand on your forehead. People understand, like
Johnny Bedford, one of our fighters. I don't know if you know him, but Johnny Bedford did a little clinic for us at our last tryouts, and the first thing he said, "Look, throw a jab at me, bang! I just dip my head, and you break your hand. It's over." So
absolutely.
You lose one of your guns, and you know this. I don't know how many fights you have, but I know you're a legend in Lithway, and that's partially bare knuckle fighting. So you get it. You have to pick your shots. This isn't a slugfest. It's more scientific than anyone would imagine.
Yeah, a lot of kickboxers I had the chance to train with, and they say, "Lan, like even UFC fighters, MMA fighters say I would break my hands swinging, like sparring, like fighting, like I fight in my fights." And I'm like, yeah, exactly. You have to pick your shots, and you can draw blood pretty fast compared to having padding on you. And just to answer you, Dave, in Lithway, for those who don't know, like it's only gauze. Like I actually put like 1 millimeter of gauze for the Street Fighter look. You have the here, and then you have the gauze here, but you feel the bone to bone. I think you write it right on the spot. It's all about picking your shot, guys. And you heard the man saying you cannot go there, going train and going into bare knuckle fighting and expect to have the same result. You're going to get wrecked. You're going to get your hands broken. You're going to get well said.
Sure. So go ahead.
Dave, you want to know the difference between bare knuckle fighting and bare knuckle boxing. You and I had a discussion on this, and I think the perfect person to explain the difference would be Mr. Feldman.
Yeah, let me ask my question, Dave. I want you to know. So basically, because when you told me we're gonna have the man, David, you said like you should ask your question. So I was wondering, because there's a dilemma in Lithway. They call it Burmese bare knuckle boxing. And a lot of the elders, they hate that name now because they say that bare knuckle, boxing is inaccurate for Lithway because you can use your head, your elbows, your knees, the entire body. And I agree with that. It should be called Burmese bare knuckle fighting, right? For your promotion, bare knuckle fighting championship, since you're using only your hands, isn't it bare knuckle boxing or you call it bare knuckle fighting?
Well, you can clinch and punch on the clinch, and you're not allowed to do that in boxing. And you can also do the Muay Thai punch where you can pull the head into the punch. So you can do that as well. So
Okay.
When I was creating the platform, the fighting platform, plus you fight from I don't know if you saw our ring, but 2 4-foot lines separated by 3 foot. The fighter's total line, the referee says knuckle up, and they start banging.
Okay.
What I did is I knew we were going to get a lot of interest from MMA fighters, so I had to make it intriguing for MMA fighters to fight in. An MMA fighter is probably not going to want to stand there and just bare knuckle box a good, well schooled and well tenured professional boxer, because he would probably have the advantage. So I call, the Muay Thai clinch I call that the great equalizer, because as soon as an MMA guy grabs a boxer to bite the back of the head, just naturally, because I did it, because they did it, and I'm like, whoa, what the hell is that?
You fought boxing, so you know the difference. Exactly.
Yeah.
So how long can you hold? How long can you hold for? As much as you hit?
As long as you're punching, you can hold as long as you want.
Oh shit!
On the clinch, on the clinch with the arms, you can hold up the same thing. As long as you're punching, you can hold. But if there's a 3-second lull, the referee's going to break it.
I like that. So this is completely different, guys. For people that don't know boxing, yeah, you cannot grapple like this. You cannot hold like this. So that's a big, like you said, it's a big difference for sure. Okay.
Yeah.
And can I do a shoulder bump? Can I do a shoulder down?
I mean, until the referee tells you can't. You can do anything until you get caught. But no, really. You can do the shoulder bump. They don't let you like throw the shoulder like when Conor McGregor did it and hit the shoulder.
Cowboy, yeah.
Distance, to create distance or something. Okay, I've seen my first experience when I saw was on your social media. But you guys have a great team because it's well done. It was actually a clip of I don't know who was fighting, man, but it was a blood splash on the camera ringside. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. But
that was Dat Nguyen knocked out Abby Velasquez. I mean, this is from the first event ever. This is Peck Rawlings fighting Alma Garcia. That's Esteban Payan. That was a pretty good knockout. Maurice Jackson. I think you know Maurice Jackson. He was a K1 guy for a long time.
Yeah. Actually, Payan, I think he fought Litway in Wyoming. I think he fought Litway against. Yeah. So you fought for you guys, Esteban, Payan?
Yeah, he fought. Okay. That's Johnny Becker.
Okay.
They hold you back of the head and punch him.
Okay.
Yeah, it's short.
Well, it's really exciting.
Yeah.
This is Joey Beltran and Tony Lopez. That was the best fighter that night. I mean, two
BKFC
were in there, and they didn't know how to back up, and they just bled, and it was good. But
guys, make sure to let me interrupt real quick. Guys, make sure to follow Bare Knuckle FC on all your social media platforms. At Bare Knuckle FC on Instagram, at Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship YouTube, and www.bktvapp.com. I think it's $3.99 a month. You can watch all the fights from before, catalog, all these cool little shows. He's got his own podcast, I believe, David. So make sure you check out them on all the platforms.
Dave, I have a question for you.
So, Dave, you've been doing left right for a long time, Bernice Bare Knuckle Boxing, and I know right now that the company itself is having a little bit of struggles. So, when are you gonna toe the line?
Oh, for Bare Knuckle Fighting? Well, yeah, I'm not. I'm an independent contractor, right? Like WLC is having some problem right now because there's a full-on war in my adoptive country, and it's really sad. Like I don't know if you've seen, but it's a military coup. So my friends are in trouble right now. One of my friends actually got a bomb exploded, a Litway fighter and one championship fighter. He's in the hospital right now. A bomb exploded near him. He's disfigured for life. So it's a very hard time. And the main one of the main Litway that is modernizing Litway is obviously in a full alt. But I fight anywhere that they have Litway. I get offers all the time. To be honest with you, I think it's amazing. I think you're a genius for what you're doing. I'm not closing the door, but I love headbutts, man, and I think it's a game changer in the clinch. If you legalize it, I'd love to do maybe a super fight because it's technically Litway is Bare Knuckle Fighting, right? So it's Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. It fits.
So it's funny. I've been talking to Gerald for a while because we were actually going to have the rights to it on BKTV app, but since he had some problems, we're actually talking about, this is breaking. I don't know if it's going to happen, but we're talking about actually acquiring World Lightweight Championship.
Whoa.
Okay.
About that right now.
Wow.
So, we'll see what happens. We have a
Wow.
couple states in the United States that are open to that. So I'm going to have a call with him tomorrow, and we're going to see what we can do there. But I get what you're saying, but, you ever want to give it a shot, the door is completely open, and we'll put a nice offer to you.
But so let's
appreciate it.
just step back real quick. So bare knuckle fighting champions is buying World Leatherweight Federation. Is that what you said?
Well, we're talking about it.
Okay.
Yeah, this is just talk. We're talking about it.
And
right
bringing Leatherweight to the United States.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, amazing.
Something
That's,
you were going to do, right, Dave?
excuse me?
He did a fight in Wyoming.
Right.
Yeah,
And Dave,
yeah,
you were talking about.
I was planning to maybe help support other leagues opening up in Wyoming for Lightweight because it was not moving fast enough for me, and especially with WLC, like what's happening right now. So I was like looking into supporting whoever wants to host fights. Yeah, and the thing is, right now we're such in an interesting era for my sport. Like in the next couple of years, the other lightweight fighters are going to be like, fuck. Okay, now it's easy, I can fight, and same for bare knuckle fighting. For boxers, they're gonna be shit now. David Feldman did all the job for us. Now we can literally fight bare knuckle fighting everywhere. Try fighting bare knuckle boxing and bare knuckle fighting 7 years ago, 10 years ago. It was practically impossible, right? And especially for shit money.
I was doing them underground in warehouses, like anywhere I could find a place to do them, and being chased out by the police. I was doing everything I had to do just to be able to do this so people would talk about it. So I know, man, trust me, you couldn't find it anywhere except illegally, especially in the United States. I know over where you did it, it was different, but any other part of the world, it's great that we have this data and this study that came out now, because it kind of misproves the perception of it and gets a lot of people like, wow, that's something.
The injuries? You talk about the injuries one? Yeah, the study about the injuries?
The study, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big thing, and I think because you have protection in your hand, you're not understanding how much impact you're doing, and your hands are. For me, it's crazy that you're breaking your hands with gloves and wraps when we have boys in Lightweight and in bare knuckle fighting full on wars and not even breaking their hands.
So Dave, when I was pitching these commissions prior to being legal, my pitch was this: like I would just go over to the wall and I would tell the guy, say, go hit the wall with your bare hand, and he would just kind of touch it and go and I'd say, now put the glove on, and he would go boom, and I would say, that's my case. I don't even have to tell you anything. That's my case. And he goes, what? And I'm like, you can hit a lot harder without any fear of breaking your hand with the boxing glove or MMA glove on. So that's why you're getting these injuries with boxing gloves and MMA gloves, because you're flailing away, you're throwing really hard shots without concern of breaking your hands, and that's why sometimes you'll land with an open hand. Your hand, but with bare knuckle, you're tighter because you don't want to be like this, and it shatters and breaks your hand, so you're tighter. And I'm not teaching anything. I'm just telling the public as they're listening to this.
No, but it's well said. It's more realistic, guys. To resume what you just said, it's more realistic to fight without any protection, any padding, because you're not. You're choosing where to shoot. You're gonna aim for the brittle bone. You're gonna aim for the jaw, the temple, not the forehead. Not the elbows. You're gonna try to be careful because you can hit the body, and you don't want to hit the elbow. You want to hit the soft tissues. Completely different. Yeah. So what's your vision for the next? Let's say if I would give you like crystal ball in the next 10 years and then 30 years. You're gonna still be there.
10 years, hopefully, chilling on an island somewhere with my wife, and we're just relaxing. Hopefully that's
with a mask on, right?
But really, I think the sport of bare knuckle within 5 years will be as big as the UFC. I really, truly do. I think here's why I think so. I think it's more adaptable to the common person. Meaning, if you go around to 10 people on the street and you ask them what an omoplata is or a spinning back kick, they might know a spinning back kick, but they don't really know. If you ask anybody in the entire world what a bare knuckle punch is, everybody knows, from being 2 years old to 100 years old. So I think it's going to be more adaptable for the common person to adapt to this, and therefore I think it has exponential growth. I think it can be the biggest combat sport in the world. I really, truly do. I don't think I'm being unrealistic there. I know it's going to take time, it's going to take money and effort, in doing it. But I think we can get there if we keep doing everything the right way, because like I said, it's more adaptable. People can like, they can understand what this is a lot easier.
To add on what you just said, it makes sense because, well, there's more damage, so it's more exciting in my opinion. There's more damage in a boxing fight, right? There's way more blood, and we do like it. And your grandma or whatever, it's that's fun. And second of all, boxing is bigger than MMA. Boxing is bigger than UFC right now. We can see by the purse that we had this weekend, right, with Paul and Floyd compared to what Ngannou got for his fight. So in a way, you have these two things combined: damage, excitement, combined with the sport, the sweet science, the sweeter science, man. It sticks to me. It sticks to me. The sweeter science. So I mean, man, I'm sending all the energy, and I really, okay. 30 years now. 30 years.
No,
We're talking like stratosphere.
30 years
on the beach. He's still on the beach.
I don't know, man. Look, the way society is going now, in 30 years, who even knows what's going to happen with the world in general? Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to discipline my children, and I'm like, take the dish from the table and put it in the sink, and they're like, you're gaslighting me. You don't know how to parent. And I'm like, what? Like when I told my dad that, oh my God, I might really be dead. So in 30 years,
how old are they, the kids?
11 and 18. They're getting crazy now. But just with society, what they're teaching them, it's a different world now. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's actually my stepchildren. My daughter's the same. My son's different. He's old school. He's respectful, hard worker. Does his thing. The girls, on the other hand, whoo. I got my hands full. In 30 years, I really believe if things go on track the way they are, like I said, I think it's like people are saying, you want to fight boxing, MMA, or bare knuckle. I just think that's every sentence. Anyone ever talks about combat sports, that's what they're going to say. They're going to say, "You watching the bare knuckle fight on pay-per-view or on TV or whatever it's going to be." This weekend, and I think that bare knuckle fighting championship, like I do believe in the next year or so, they're just going to go, are you fighting BKFC? Not, are you, same with like the UFC, and are you a UFC fighter? They don't know it's even a thing.
Perfect example.
I like
bare
your
knuckle
vision.
signs. Good, Dave.
Perfect example, they signed
Paige Van Zandt. That was what Van
Zandt. David, basically, I was going to say, what's your? I have to ask you. What's your? You probably heard what Jorge Masvidal opening his bare knuckle MMA league. What's your opinion on like bare knuckle MMA? What do you think it's going to do good?
I think it has a chance to do good. I think it's I think I'm in my own category, meaning I'm not boxing or MMA. I'm not really competing with UFC, or I'm not really competing with World Championship Boxing. I'm kind of in the middle somewhere. I think that bare knuckle MMA, if it's not boring, it could be boring to the fact where if you don't have the right fighters in there, they're going to take you down real fast and hold you real close. If it's not boring, which I don't think it's going to be, I think it has a chance of competing with the UFC. We're actually we're airing that on the Bare Knuckle TV app, so we have a race.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so it's going to be on your app.
Yeah. So if you try to keep your friends close and your enemies closer. He's not my enemy, but we actually have more and more involvement with that as the days go on. So Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship will probably end up having something to do with that. But they're good people. I know that all the people behind it, good people, hard workers. We're helping them with a lot of things because it's on our app. We're helping them with all the production pieces. I think it's got a shot. Again, it's all going to be about the fighters, right? If you have two boring fighters fighting each other, it could, if on this card they have 20 boring fighters fighting, then it's going to be one and done. If they have 20 guys on there that want to stand and bang it out, I mean, it could really be fun.
What do you think about Vale Tudo having the same thing but with headbutts allowed in the ground and pound?
I mean, I really like it. Again, man, you got to find the right fan for everything, right? Like I always say, bare knuckle fighting, it's not for everybody, but who it's for, it's the best thing that they've ever had. So the same thing with what you guys did, people that want that a little more extreme and had the taste for headbutts, I think it's the best thing around. I mean, it's just really your taste. I think the old school guys, the older guys, they're more just into boxing because that's what they grew up with. And you know, people are taught certain things and they do certain things in life, and it's hard to get them to change. They're a creature of habits. But when you can introduce new things, and this, you know, I'm hoping bare knuckle fighting is the new way for the 18-year-olds, and as they grow older, this becomes the norm for them.
So basically, you're creating a new generation of more bloodthirsty fans. I like it.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, everybody wants more and more and more nowadays. So, you know, that they would, if I was allowed to cut someone's head off on TV, they would watch it. So, you know, it's if you give them what they want, they're going to tune in and watch it.
Chris and I were talking the other day about like matchups, like dream matchup. What would be, because we heard about, I think Tyson Fury called out Joshua in bare knuckle fighting. Would you host that fight? That would be cool on bare knuckle FC.
I believe you were with Tyson Fury, right?
Yeah, I was with Tyson Fury last week. We're trying to do a deal. It went great. He's a good guy. He was trying to get some fighters on. We're talking to him about getting involved a little bit, but more than that, we're going to help get his fights distributed in Asia a little bit, where especially in China, where there's only a few licenses, and we happen to hold one of those licenses to get into China. So we're going to try to help him with this fight in there. But Tyson Fury, I said I saw Rumble fight Anthony Rumble Johnson, but he's down at 205 now. When he was a little heavier, I wanted that fight. But Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury and bare knuckle, I mean, it would be an unbelievable fight. I mean, I think every combat sports fan in the world would tune into that.
That would be the combat sports history, probably.
Yeah, I think it would be the biggest. I think if not the biggest bare knuckle fighting fight. Would you guys agree?
Ever.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Tyson Fury against Francis Ngannou, UFC fight champion against boxing champion. Two big motherfuckers. Gloves off. I never bought pay-per-view, but I would buy that. I would get that. Well, actually, I'd go ringside because Dave would hook me up with tickets.
100%, man, 100%. Did you happen to catch the Mayweather thing? I know you don't. Do you see it at hard? Huh?
I just saw the highlights, and from what I saw, sorry for the boys, everybody. I respect the hustle, but I didn't see the fight. That's you guys.
Yeah, I was there live. I wasn't working Logan Paul's corner, but I was in his corner as it was actually, Logan Paul did a lot better than anyone thought he did. And he looked sharp. He had some good skills. I do think that, Mayweather, he's getting older. Absolutely. I do think the 50, 60-pound difference by the time they got in the ring had a lot to do with it. But, it was good for this generation. It's a new spectacle. All the celebrities were there. Celebrities just want to see other popular people. That's what it is. And as far as the event itself, it was a good event. It was a good, entertaining event. It was a great fight. It wasn't phenomenal fights, but it was a great, entertaining event. It was a great, entertaining event. Sorry, guys.
No worries.
Oh, you're good.
Would you say that he did better than Conor in a way? I don't know.
Uh-oh.
What do you say? I didn't hear.
Hold on, David. Can you hear? Did he do better than Conor McGregor? You think Logan Paul do better than Conor McGregor?
I think it was a different Mayweather when he fought Conor McGregor.
3 years ago. It was 3 years ago, 2018.
And as you get older, David, you're not too old yet, but as you get older, every year does something to you. So especially when you're not fighting, it does a lot to you. So I think it was a different Mayweather. I think Logan Paul with everybody. I mean, is he the best fighter in the world? No, but does he have ability to become something? Absolutely, man. And he's balls in the world. He fought one of the best fighters ever in history in front of the world.
Honestly, it's impressive, and to go from fighting a YouTuber to fighting Floyd, man, you gotta respect that. And now he's even in the talks. So if he wants to have a career in boxing or anywhere right now, he can make the jump. We have to respect that. We have to respect that.
Absolutely. I mean, I said it all along. I said both him and his brother that they weren't, groomed up to be fighters, but they were, whatever they did, they were YouTubers, and they were the best YouTubers in the world. So they did it diligently. They did it as hard as they could do, and they put their all into it. That's why I knew that they would put their all into this, because they have a lot to lose. Although Logan Paul said Mayweather had a lot to lose, I mean, so did Logan Paul, because if he got knocked out, fast. I mean, if he got knocked down in the later rounds, I don't think it would have mattered. Same as McGregor. But had he got knocked out fast, it would have been a problem. But I take my hat off to the guys, man. They built something special. They're making a lot of money. You know, they're getting a lot of eyeballs in this thing. And not only that, they competed very well at a high level.
So you ever like to see them in the bare knuckle ring, David?
Of course.
That'd be awesome.
Of course, man. I'd love to see
a different game.
I was actually with Jake Paul during the day that day because I was watching him train. And he said, no way, bare knuckle.
No way.
No way.
Okay. That's what Misha Tate told. Misha Tate told us, no way bare knuckle, but she respects the women that get in there. Speaking of women, you signed Paige Van Zant, Rachel Ostovich, Pearl Gonzalez. Got a ton of new talent, female division. Let's talk about that, David.
Well, we got some more coming too. You look, I mean,
Can you give us some names and break some news, maybe?
Not yet, because I just, it'll mess up the contract negotiations.
Understood.
We actually have a big announcement we're going to make on Thursday of a real top MMA fighter that we just signed. He's going to make a real good run in it. He looks good. But
what division, David?
In the
155,
145, 155 pound division.
That's a good division.
I mean, the girl division, people want to see. Look, when you get two beautiful girls like Pearl and Rachel, probably the two most beautiful girls ever fight in combat sports against each other. And now they're going to fight in bare knuckle fighting. So people first are like, wow. First they're going to fight. Now they're like, wow, they're going to fight bare knuckle. And they're going to take a chance of messing up their moneymakers. But, I mean, you got to take your hat off to these kind of girls. Because, yeah, they're getting paid good. But, I mean, this is a different thing. So I think that people but when a woman fights bare knuckle because they don't expect them to. So, bare knuckle itself is something that people already have question marks about. And now, women and attractive women at fighting bare knuckle fighting, it gets people like, wow, I can't believe that's happening. So the women's division, we're adding a lot more now. So in the next 30, 60 days, we have a big plan for the next year. So in the next 30 to 60 days, we're going to add a lot of people to the roster. Starting September, we'll be doing 2 BKFC shows a month.
2 a month, wow.
And an international show a month. So we're going to have a show every weekend on the BKTV app. So we're gearing stuff up. We should close out 2021 in great fashion, and 2022, I really think, is when we explode.
A lot more pin rides, huh, David?
Yeah, it's going to be great.
You get your private jet yet, David?
Not
Soon.
yet. I can't afford the gas on a private jet yet.
Have you started your second office in Florida yet? You were talking about that?
Not yet. We're actually designing it right now. So
South Florida, Dave?
Yeah, South Florida, Miami.
Yep.
It'll be up probably me moving into there in November.
Very cool.
I have to ask you, because you guys are both from there, I have to ask you guys, because I'm in Turkey right now, and we chose here because it was peaceful, Mediterranean, beautiful weather. It happens to be also pretty inexpensive, but like the weather was the main thing. But I have to ask you guys, I hate what's happening in the world right now, and without going too much deep into this rabbit hole, David and Chris, what do you guys think in the next few years? Because I'm watching what's happening in Texas, what's happening in Florida right now. I want to live like happy, relaxed, like almost like a hermit, after. Like, do you guys think it's going to remain like that? Like, because they're the no mask mandate and then no all these things. My question is it going to stay like this, or we're going to have like a fucking civil war, and the new Democratic guys are going to come in, and we're going to have all the decree are going to leave, and they're going to put masks everywhere. We're going to put that, because I want to move to Florida. But if they're gonna come back to communism, that's why I left Canada. It's gonna go back to communism.
We just talked about it today, especially we're negotiating some contracts with some of the fighters, and we talked about it in that because we said, look, do you want a democracy where we give you an offer and we can negotiate that contract, or do you want us to tell you tell us what you're making, and that's kind of like socialist. Like we don't do that. Really, if I could just say, I think we're in the biggest pussy-fied society in the history of the world right now, and so who knows what's going to happen? Who knows if people have the balls to do a civil war, which we don't want that. but who knows if they even have the balls to do that. I think that people are getting in the habit of having people telling them what to do, and it's bad. I don't like it. So I don't know. I've never been to Turkey, but I don't see myself staying in especially where I'm at in Pennsylvania, not too much longer.
Mm-hmm.
Florida's a great place right now, but I think it's going to get overpopulated soon because everybody's going to Florida.
Everybody.
And so, you know, I'd love to get out of the country at some point, but on the flip side, I still think you know the United States is one of the greatest countries in the world. I mean, it gives people a lot of opportunities. People want to come here for everything. So I'm not rushing to get out the door by any means, but you know, I'd like to check out the world and see if there's a better place for me. But at the same respect, you know, I love the country. I just don't love the kind of shit that's going through now. You know, it's tough to watch as it's happening.
Dave, we will welcome you to Florida. I live in Tampa. Dave's probably going to be down here in the Miami area half of his life or more soon. And Joe Rogan, your buddy's in Texas. He's living in Texas.
Yeah, that's right. I have a school in Texas too. Yeah, I have a affiliated gym in Austin. So like I'm on one side we have the Gators and the Hurricanes, and on the other side we have the Tornadoes and the so it's hard to choose.
That's Rogan's in Austin, right?
Austin,
at
Texas.
At the On It building, right? On It.
Yes, sir.
At the On It. Yeah.
On It.
They're really good friends of ours. They actually may get involved with what we're doing right now.
Oh, very cool. Him and Shaq and a bunch of other big names. There's a lot of big names getting involved.
Yeah, you know, we don't want to jump too fast. We just want to make sure we make the right decisions because you can't make too many wrong decisions in this business. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I just want to go slow and make the right decisions as we're moving forward. We've got a couple of big shows coming up here, June 26th and then July 23rd. So just want to make sure we're doing the right thing. We're excited about the future. I'm glad I really got to talk to you. You're a legend. I watch everything you're doing. It would be an honor for you to come into our ring. We'll make it worth your while. So I'm not pressuring you. I'm just leaving that open. Yeah. So whenever you're ready, we will welcome.
I have two questions for you, Dave. So I'm a big, you know, I like to fight, but I also have this philosopher in me, and I have to ask you because you're a man of many hats and you're very successful. Two things. First of all, man, what would you say to your 18-year-old self right now? If you had what would you tell them?
I would say listen to the older people that are telling you things that they learned through experiences. You know, being a stubborn kid thinking you know how to do everything. You don't listen as much. I listen to everybody now. I mean, my wife gets mad at me. She said, "Why are you talking to that guy? Why are you talking to that guy?" I said, "I want to hear everybody's story because someone's going to tell me I'm going to take something little out of every conversation, whether it's good or bad. I'm either going to say I have to do that, or I'm going to say I'm definitely not going to do that." So it's really it's listen to the people that went through the experiences. That's absolutely what I would say to him.
Okay, wow.
And I would say things I didn't do then as much as I'm doing now is go for everything you want in life. Just go for it.
Go for everything you want in life.
Go for everything you want in life. Just take a shot. I mean, the worst that can happen is someone says no to you.
So don't take life too seriously. Nothing matters. Let's go.
That's it.
Well, I like it. Okay, Chris?
No, I appreciate the philosophy of King Ledoux. And I'd love to see you here in the States soon. Come join us ringside for an event maybe, Dave.
Absolutely. I'm actually doing a seminar in Mexico City. I'm going to fly from Turkey to Mexico in September. I don't know. I'd love to come by in the stateside and see if you have a show under these days. But we'll keep in touch, Dave. Let's connect.
Awesome, Dave. Thank you so much. A pleasure speaking to you. Chris, thanks again for having me. Talk to you guys. Thank you again.
I'll talk to you soon, Dave. Take care. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, what a good talk.
What a good talk. What a good talk. It was great. It was a great episode. Yeah, it was. I kind of let you and him do all the talking there.
You know him more than me.
I stepped on the flow a little bit, but you know, I had to get a couple questions in.
No, that's good because you know the bare knuckle universe more than me, and I'm actually getting more interested as we go. It's very nice.
What did you think? Your eyes open. Your eyes were like, whoa, the clinch game, and then the uppercuts.
Yeah,
like, oh shit.
I didn't think. Yeah, you're right. I didn't think you could clinch like that. I thought it was just hands, and same as boxing, they separate you as soon as it goes. So that's a big. I think he has a point. It's a great equalizer for sure. Like if you're an MMA guy, right?
Yeah. You know, and I look what he said. Is it the World Lethway Federation that he's thinking about buying? Is that of significance to you?
Well, that's a scoop, actually. That's a great, because I knew they were looking to sell for quite a big amount.
They were talking today, evidently. That's a big deal. Yeah. So is his vision have a card that has bare knuckle and Lethway on the same card, or is his vision just to bring Lethway to the United States?
Yeah, there's two ways. We would have to see more. Again, from my understanding, he just wants to do like it's you're during the talk, but it was a multi-million-dollar deal from what I heard, and that's actually I was surprised to hear that. Either you would make like a joint venture and have both on cards, or run it at two separate entities. We have to see.
I like two cards. I like being able to go to a show and having some mixed martial arts, maybe some Muay Thai, maybe some bare knuckle. Like one championship does, without bare knuckle.
Yeah, it looks like he's diversifying, and who knows?
Smart man.
He's having Jorge Masvidal's bare knuckle MMA on the BKFC app. Now he wants to potentially have Lethway. The thing with Lethway is you have to have the flag, you have to have the music, you have to have.
Well, maybe that's where you come in. Maybe that's where you come in.
The advisor.
Who else could do it? Who else would do it? Come on.
You know, we saw that Rich Franklin was doing this in one with Chatri, and Misha Tate was doing this as well at one. She's still there, probably. I think as vice president or something. So
she stepped away from one championship because she's fighting for UFC soon, but she's thinking about going back possibly. Yeah. But definitely a good show. David Feldman. Before we go, Dave, I wanted to. Did you say something about one of your friends from New Zealand possibly on next week's show?
Yes, I got my boy Dan Hangman. So it's confirmed he's going to be with us for next week. For people that want to see what's up with him, since his last fights, what's new. Dan and I come a long way. We won the Tiger Muay Thai tryouts in 2016. He was a scholarship for MMA. He was just coming into UFC, and he was actually all the other guys in the MMA scholarship were all professional fighters, but he was the only one in the UFC. And I won the Muay Thai, won the striking scholarship. So we were basically living in the same houses for I think a year. And since we were the first ones to leave, me and him, because he was starting having success in MMA, I got success in Lethway. So we left like the not the dorms, but it was like apartments in this complex. We left the complex first because we wanted to have a bigger, more luxurious arrangements. But man, we came a long way from him. I actually didn't speak to him since then, since like 4 or 5 years. So we're gonna talk. I'm excited.
Dan Hangman, UFC lightweight Dan Hangman Hooker show next week. Bare Knuckle Uncensored. And Dave, is there anything else you got for our fans? I'd like to say thank you to all our fans. We've got, I don't know how many subscribers, but we got a lot more than we had last week. Please share these episodes on YouTube and subscribe.
Share it, subscribe. Go on. Also, I want to say Chris's team is doing an amazing job at doing the clips. For me, I like to consume fast, 1 minute clip. And what you guys the team is doing is amazing. So go on Instagram if you want to see short clips. I just want to reminisce what Dave said, because again, Dave is very successul in this event, and he did say again, if you would talk to us in the future, don't take, in a way, that's why I interpret it, don't take life too seriously. The worst thing that could happen is you were told no. So aim for the fucking stars. Talk to the girl that you want. Start the business that you want. Do whatever you want, because the worst that's gonna happen is gonna be a no. That's it. Nobody cares about what's no. So I like today's episode, Chris. What do you think?
I do, and I just want to end it like this. Dave says, "Don't drink and go to strip joints," but we're gonna have a Dan Hangman Hooker on next week. How about that?
We can do it, but just don't make it your sole purpose in life. Exactly. Try to go for the thing that matters. So next week we got Dan, and thanks everybody for watching. Chris, I'll see you next week.
Take care. Talk to you soon, King.